Good morning. Patrick Smith here with you this morning with Morning Manna, my Morning Manna. Just me reading Proverbs. I try to read the Bible every morning, and I've been reading Proverbs, the books of wisdom, Job. Then you come in with Psalms, put a little salve on everything. Woo! Um, but I like to try to work on myself, and the books of Proverbs. I read them whatever day of the week it is. I'm sorry, whatever day of the month, and it is the 30th of June, and that's where I'm at this morning, sitting outside of Jack's Java here in Paris, Tennessee. They've got a beautiful alley space here, as you can see behind me, a beautiful mural, and I love it. It's a beautiful morning. Happy Friday. Let's go. Proverbs 30. In my Bible, it starts out with a preface, the words of Agar. The words of Agar, son of Japheth, the pronouncement, the man's oration to Ithiel and Ucal. I am more stupid than any person, and I lack a human's ability to understand. Pronounce that one to yourself. That's what I just did. Verse 3. I have not gained wisdom, and I have no knowledge of the Holy One. Who has gone up to heaven and come down? Who has gathered the wind in his hands? Who has bound up the waters in the cloak? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is the name of his son, if you know? Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him. Don't add to his words, or he will rebuke you, and you will be proved a liar. Boy, that's 30, verse 1 through 6. The second verse there. I am more stupid than any person, and I lack a human's ability to understand. I think of that as just like that immediate humbling, like that we'll try to presume that I'm certainly not reading this to the world, presuming that I know more than God, or that I'm not trying to add to his words. When I think about adding to his words, I think about Jesus in the red letters. A lot of what he did was repeat some of the older words in the Old Testament, and I'm very careful not to. I only know a few verses like perfectly, and so the rest of the time I read them. So that's where I think about don't add to, he'll prove you a liar. Verse 7. Two things I ask of you, don't deny them to me before I die. Keep falsehood and deceitful words far from me. Give me neither poverty nor wealth. Feed me with the food I need. Otherwise, I might have too much and deny you, saying, who is Lord? Or I might have nothing and steal, profaning the name of my God. Again, in that humbling and recognizing that he's not in control, recognizing that whatever's coming to him is coming at the behest of God, and that God knows how much, God, but he's also saying, hey, I'm human. If you don't provide for me, I'm liable to steal. But God knows exactly the right proportion if you're aware. Verse 10, don't slander a servant to his master, or he will curse you, and you will become guilty. Mm-mm. Uh, if it's kind of a shooting the messenger, sort of, not really, but if you see if you see an agency's employee, for instance, because maybe they've got whatever the team municipality or something, and you see something out, and you assume that maybe they're doing something that they shouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe people do that. You see that, I don't know, guys leaning over on a shovel. Like you want to tell on them. There, you go. That's you go to their master, like maybe to City Hall or something. It's not going to end well, and it's not that it's a. They have to protect people. People protect their servants. That's the easiest way to say it. And you shouldn't get tore up about it. They may reprimand them behind closed doors, but they're probably not going to allow you to tear them down at all. There's a generation that curses its father and does not bless its mother. There's a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet is not wasted. I'm sorry. There's a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet is not. I did again. Yet is not washed from its filth. I need to slow down this morning. I thought about, why am I doing this? And when I thought about the why, it's kind of what I'm reading right now. Am I doing it for me? I have an urge to do it. I don't know why. And I'm trying to balance that. Again, a couple of proverbs back, too much honey, manna. That's what I call this, morning manna, not mania. But it's, you know, it's God. I hope. It's not me. I'm not, I do other things for self-promotion, not this. um, anyway, there's a generation, I'm sorry, let me back up. There's a generation that is pure in its own eyes, yet is not washed from its filth. There's a generation, how haughty its eyes, and pretentious it looks. There's a generation whose teeth are swords, whose fangs are knives, devouring the oppressed from the land, and the needy from among mankind. There's always a generation. Ahead, behind, time applied through the eyes of a great great grandfather can be totally different than time applied by somebody that just got newly married at 17. There's always a generation. And there's one eternal God. The leech has two daughters. Give, give. Three things are never satisfied. Four never enough. Sheol, a childless womb. Earth, which is never satisfied with water. And fire, which never says enough. All of the things that we think are immovable. Just think of a volcano, and in our span here on Earth, it seems like nothing moves, but that volcano can consume and repurpose and reshape continents. Um, but God's eternal. As for the eye that ridicules a father and despises obedience to a mother, may ravens of the valley pluck it out, and young vultures eat it. I think this is a verse that's misused by parents on their children. I have a father and a mother. I have fathers behind me and mothers behind me. I, I have generations of people behind me. I have generations now below me. And, to ridicule my father now, my father's way of life, my father's whatever, is to ridicule my generations, my past. It's foolish. Um, so, sorry. Keep going. Three things are too wondrous for me, four I can't understand: the way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship at sea, and the way of a man with a young woman. Ah, you choose. This is the way of an adulteress. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I've done nothing wrong. Is it just a female um, woman prior married or not in a relationship? Is that all that comes to someone's head? An adulteress could be anything that you cheat on, cheat with, a shortcut. That happens all the time in Proverbs. The rod of correction. It's it's not right there at the surface. Always. I mean, it can be, but think deeper, because that's where, whenever you start to throw that stone, you might pull it back. The earth trembles under three things; it cannot bear up under four: a servant when he becomes king, a fool when he is stuffed with food, an unloved woman. Sorry, got a little breeze here. An unloved woman when she marries, and a servant girl when she ousts her queen. Interesting. There's a lot in that one. I like the picking. It's too much to go into. I'll let y'all pick them. Four things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. Ants are ants are a strong people, yet they store up their food in the summer. Hyraxes are not a mighty people, yet they make their homes in the cliffs. Locusts have no king, yet all of them march in ranks. A lizard can be caught in your hands, yet it lives in kings' palaces. Wow. All the wonders of the natural world there, all on display for us, for us to learn from. That's why we were put on this earth. That's why we named everything. I think God gave us the animals as tools to better learn from, so that we could observe at a different level or from below, watching birds fly and wonder. But it's for us. Three things are stately in their stride, four are stately in their walk: a lion, which is mightiest among beasts and doesn't retreat before anything; a strutting rooster, a goat, and a king at the head of his army. I'm not going to get into again the picking because it really gets into philosophy and what it's trying to explain in all of it. Um, the imagery though, and I think about um, a strutting rooster, and I think about Egypt, and I think about Israel, and I'm assuming they had bacon and eggs. Well, they may not have bacon, but there was roosters strutting around, and they're just like out at Cottage Grove, speculating, watching these roosters strutting around, watching them strut. Why do they strut? They're strutting to show off. They are they stately in their stride? Are they stately in their walk? But the thought really is, in order to put this in this book, they knew about roosters, and it's not. I never see roosters painted anywhere in the Middle East like that. It's an odd thing to me. That means again, a lot of this was given to us by God. He's a king, though. David, Solomon, all of them. That I'm sure they saw pictures of it, but still, to pull that information in, even the people of the times would have had to have been educated. People back then were not stupid, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make. We're stupid. Last two. If you have been foolish by exalting yourself, or if you've been scheming, put your hand over your mouth, for the churning of milk produces butter, and twisting a nose draws blood, and stirring up anger produces strife. I'm guilty, trying to rectify myself every day, always. My secret: go through life like a tourist. This place right here, Jack's Java, being here. Me and my wife travel, and I get rejuvenated when I travel, and I come back. I'm like, what's different? When I'm out, I'm trying to experience new things, and I take time to smell the rose. I take time to do the the things that I dream about doing. Now I'm doing it. Live life like a tourist. Come to Paris, Tennessee. That's a cool place. See ya.